Welcome to Neo Royal House of Proxy Cardboard. Let me reassure you, it's not Friday yet. You didn't lose your sense of time this bad. We are, however, now in the month of December, and as an holiday gift to you, this month will be packed with 2 videos per week instead of 1. I hope you enjoy because it's gonna be a lot of work. Today's gameplay is over Spell Table with our friends from Chain of Commander. We played somewhere along the lines of 6 hours of Commander that day, and this game in particular is very interesting. Chain will be playing is Tuvasa the Sunlit. This is a very optimized enchantress list, looking to cast creatures that draw on cast, get some pillow fort, and close the game either by turning enchantments into creatures, stealing the board with Aura Thief in Enchanted Evening, or even commander damage with Tuvasa. With powerful cards like Force of Will, Serra's Sanctum, Academy Rector, and many more, I for sure underestimated this list while playing against it. Liz will be playing Azusa, Lost but Seeking. This is a mono-green landfall deck looking to drop a lot of lands quickly, draw off of them, and make tokens to take over the table. If the tokens are not enough, we have 2 finishers to attack with our lands, and Constant Miss with Glassem Chasm shields us from aggressive strategy. Kelly will be playing Chainer, Nightmare Adept. Featured many times on this channel, this is a wheel deck based around creatures for easy recursion with Chainer. It's packing a lot of tutors to gain some consistency and is one of Kelly's favorite. For myself, I will be playing Ghired, Conclave Exile. This is a Naya token combat deck as the commander implies. Very straight to the point, we're gonna make a lot of creatures with trample and attack with them. This is pretty heavily based around the commander, but there's a couple of other token maker in the list. My opening hand contains Heroas, God of Victory, Beast Within, Smothering Tide, Sheltered Ticket, Celestial Sanctuary, Spire Garden, and an Exotic Orchard. It's an okay hand. I have a lot of mana and a lot of potential mana with Smothering Tide. If I can find a low CMC RAM to get my enchantment and commander earlier, it's gonna go smoothly. Kelly's opening hand contains Sadistic Hypnosis, Grim Merchant of Asphodel, Reforge the Soul, Crucible of Worlds, Scavenger Ground, a Mountain, and a basic Swamp. Pretty slow hand on Kelly's side as well. We have a wheel in hand already, which is nice, and the Crucible can be really good piece to never miss a land drop. You can even discard your land to Chainer as the ability cost and then land drop it for a turn, which is great. Liz's opening hand contains Burgeoning, Hornet Queen, Zendikar's Royal, Force of Vigor, and 3 basic forests. With 3 lands in hand and a Burgeoning, we're looking at a turn 2 Azusa for sure. We could even see a Zendikar's Row if both our draws are land. Hopefully, she gets a way to refill her hand. Chain's opening hand contains Ghostly Prison, Rhystic Study, Commit to Memory, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, Fabled Passage, Prismatic Vista, Command Tower. Now that is color fixing, which is great because enchantments can be one of the trickier type of permanent to pay in terms of mana cost. Nothing too out of the ordinary, I think, a lot of 3 drops with Tuvasa that cost 3 as well. Hopefully he can draw into a 2 drop. Chain gets to start this match, and land drops a Fabled Passage, cracking it for a snow-covered forest. I land drop a Sheltered Ticket, and Liz land drops a Forest. She casts a Burgeoning. It feels a bit overkill in an Azusa deck, but here's what Liz think of it.
If we learned anything from when I played Borborygmos, I like playing lands, not necessarily doing stuff with this land. So...
Kelly land drops a Swamp, Burgeoning trigger, and Liz land drops a Forest. Jen land drops a Command Tower, and Liz land drops another Forest. He then casts Argothian Enchantress. I land drop an Exotic Orchard, passing. Liz casts her commander, Azusa, Lost but Seeking.
Whenever I set my pack and rest my head, I am home.
She is out of land currently and pass. Kitty land drops a Mountain. Chen untaps, land drops Prismatic Vista, cracking it for a snow-covered island. He then casts Dryad of the Elysian Grove. For my turn, I cast Dragon Master Outcast. I then land drop a Celestial Sanctuary, returning Exotic Orchard to hand. Liz has no land to play. She head into combat, sending Azusa to Kelly. Kelly land drops a Scavenger Ground, and casts Crucible of Worlds. Chain land drops a snow-covered forest, and casts Rhystic Study, drawing a card from the Enchantress. He then land drops Waterlogged Grove. He goes to combat, sending the Dryad to Liz. Reacting to attackers, Liz exiles Hornet Queen from her hand to cast Force of Vigor, targeting Rhystic Study and the Dryad. In reaction, Chain sacrifices Waterlog to draw a card, and the removal then resolves. I land drop my Exotic Orchard again, and cast Smothering Tide. Chain is quick to tell Liz that she should have waited for her removal. Liz untaps and casts Kalniheart Expedition. Heading into combat, Azusa goes to Kelly once more. Kelly then drops a Shadowblood Ridge, and casts her commander, Chainer, Nightmare Adept.
Your life is finished, your name lost, and your work forgotten. It is as though you never existed.
Going to combat, Chainer attacks me while I have no blockers. Chain casts his commander, Tuvasa the Sunlit.
My people have always been here, and here we shall remain.
He then drops Misty Rainforest, cracking it for a Tundra. He casts Fertile Ground, enchanting a forest, drawing a card for both enchantresses. He then passes. I then drop Spiral Garden, and cast Nature's Lore, searching for Temple Garden tap. I cast my commander, Ghired, Conclave Exile.
Harmony is no longer an option.
Entering the battlefield, I create a 4/4 Rhino token with Trample. Liz then drops a forest, adding a counter on the expedition. She then casts Wilderness Reclamation, and untaps her lands at the end step. Kelly then drops a swamp, and casts Talisman of Indulgence. She then casts Sangromancer. She goes to combat and sends Chainer to Liz. Chain casts Herald of the Pantheon. He follows it up with Ghostly Prison, drawing 2 cards and gaining a life. He then casts Karmic Justice, drawing 1 card and gaining a life. He then drops Flooded Strand and pass. I cast Quartzwood's Crasher, and follow it up with Iroas, God of Victory. Chain cracks his Flooded Strand for a tropical island. I head into combat, sending Ghired to Liz, a Rhino to Kelly, and the populating Rhino to Chain. The Crasher triggers and creates 2 4/4 dinosaurs with Trample. Liz then drops a forest, and casts Zendekar's Roil. She untaps her land at the end step and pass. Kelly casts Reforge the Soul. In reaction, I cast Eladamri's Call, and decide to fail to search since I'm gonna discard a creature anyway. I then cast Beast Within, targeting the Sangromancer. Liz reacts and casts her own Beast Within on my Smothering Tide. I react with Deflecting Swap to redirect the removal to Tuvasa. We then resolve the wheel, discarding and drawing 7. I make a bunch of treasures and draw absolutely no gas. Special mention to Liz paying for one of my 21 Tide triggers. Kelly then drops a Canyon Slow tap, and casts Phyrexian Reclamation, passing. Chain then drops a Serra's Sanctum, and casts Satyr Enchanter. He then casts Courser of Crufix, drawing 2 since it's an enchantment, and gains a life. After that, he casts Aura of Silence, drawing 2 and gaining another life. And then Aura Thief. After that, he sacrificed the Aura of Silence to destroy my Smothering Tide. I then drop a Jungle Shrine. Liz Burgeoning triggers, and she then drops a forest. This adds a counter to the expedition, and she cracks it for 2 more forests. She creates 3 2/2 Elementals tokens in the process. I then continue with a Soul Ring into a Cultivate. Having cast all the non-land cards in my hand, we go to combat. I send Ghired to Liz, I Roas the Quartzwood and the populated dinosaur to Chain, and 4 Rhinos to Kelly. Now this is a very important part of the game.
Alright, and then my Horror Thief triggers, and he gets all the enchantments.
Wait, did he assign damage to it? It was blocking with 2 things, you gotta put all the damage on the other thing, so it doesn't die.
Don't tell him that.
You should do that, don't let the Horror Thief die.
My dinosaur trigger and creates a 16/16 and a 10/10 token. Liz then drops a forest, creating an elemental. She then drops 2 more forests for Azusa and makes 2 more elementals. She casts Beacon of Creation, creating 11 1/1 green insects and shuffle the beacon in the deck. At the end step, she untaps her land and pass. Kelly then drops a mountain, and Liz then drops from Burgeoning, making an elemental. Kelly then casts Ravenous Chupacabra. Entering the battlefield, it destroys my Dragon Master Outcast. She then discards Born Miser to Chainer to cast Sangromancer from the graveyard. Chain then drops Temple Garden from the top of his deck, paying 2 life and gaining another 1. He then casts Evolutionary Leap, drawing 2 and gaining another life. After that, he casts Academy Rector, and Liz is asking if anyone can do something about this, clearly worried for her safety. Chain then sacrifices the Rector with the Leap. With the Leap effect on the stack, he exiles the Rector to his death trigger and fetches his library for Enchanted Evening, putting it on the table. He then keeps the leap on the stack and sacrifices Aura Thief to the leap as well. Liz casts Crop Rotation, desperately looking for an answer. She gets Arc of Araska and uses it to draw a card, but do not find the miracle she was looking for. I crack my 27 treasures and chains Aura Thief trigger then resolve, gaining him control of all the enchantments, which is every permanent on the battlefield including lands. We see no point in continuing this match and concede the victory. Chain is the grand winner of this match. Looking back at this game, Chain's combo was very effective, but at the same time very fragile. Destroying the enchantment before the Aura Thief stole our permanence would have stopped the interaction. A play I wanted to come back on was when I opted to not destroy the Aura Thief earlier. If I knew the deck contained such a line of play, I would have felt safer with the Thief in the graveyard better than on the battlefield, especially since I only had one enchantment at the table at the time. It's very different when you play against a deck multiple times. The knowledge you gain about their win con is a very valuable tool. I was off to a solid start. I had a big board presence and a hand full of interaction. Sadly, once the wheel resolved, I drew into 5 lands, a Soul Ring and a Cultivate, which made my 20 treasures completely useless. Liz had a rough start, missing a lot of land drops, but she was getting back on track in the last few turns. The deck contains 47 lands, so it was a really bad luck that she got Mana Screw. Kelly was off to a pretty slow game as well. Beside the ability to gain a lot of life with Sangromancer, she wasn't really close to end this match. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Make sure to subscribe as we will be posting 2 videos every week for the whole month of December, giving you a lot of gameplay to enjoy. Thank you to everyone who likes and comments on our videos, and a big thank you to our Patreons. See you soon and take care!